Guten Tag, das ist Rezensieren auf Sarkrista. Well, that was my poor attempt to do a little bit of a German introduction to this double feature review video for, well, German black metal band Sarkrista. Now, why do I have two review albums here is that one of these is the debut album from 2014, being in my backlog for quite some time. This one is called the Acheronian Worship. And then we have this newer album of 2021 called Sworn to Profound Heresy. Well, because I wanted to review this new one as soon as I get it on CD, which just arrived here a couple of days ago. Well, technically speaking, when you're seeing this video, probably a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to feature this earlier one because really it has been waiting for quite some time. So first I will introduce you both of these contents and tell you a little bit about the band, and then we shall go more about the criticism of the album. The band started already in 2011, and since then the band has been very active. 3 albums in 10 years, but that is not where the active mark goes, but more about having also these mini releases, EP and other stuff. So there has been constantly lots of things going on with the band and also some other ventures by these band members. As you can see, this debut album doesn't feature any kind of booklet, so there are no lyrics whatsoever, just the basic lineup information and recording information. And like I said, this is the debut album since 2014, and this is the reissue in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And or it might be actually older, but anyway, it arrived here back in the days. And then we have this new album, the third one, which is also released through Purity Through Fire. And obviously during these years the band has grown a little. That is, it has gotten more success, more fame and following and all that stuff. But musically the band hasn't changed that much. What we have here in essence is melodic, somewhat a raw kind of black metal that is not super raw, not super primitive, but not exactly the most clean and, well, most beautiful kind of melodic black metal, but more kind of a Finnish black metal. Actually, there is a lot of similarities with Sarkrista and Finnish black metal bands, especially bands like Baptism, Satanic War Massacre, Horna and the like. Overall, very Finnish sounding band. Now, to add a layer of Finnish things on this band is that they actually have a Finnish band member. I don't know whether or not he's more of a session kind or permanent position, but be it as may, there is quite a lot of Finnish presence in the music. Now, as you can see, here it looks like on the band's Bandcamp site, Metal Archive site I was trying to say, and like I said, 2011. And I will correct my earlier mistakes. I was saying Acaronian Worship was 2014, but this is actually 2013, the original version and as it is, and the reissue 2014, not 2018. I guess I'm just, messing those dates in my head because when it probably came here. Not exactly sure. Anyway, it's an old release and as such it has been waiting for here. But let's start with that, the Acheronian Worship, and let's try to find out which one of these releases is better. Now, this comes with some 38 minutes of melodic black metal, and the style is, like I said, quite Finnish. There is nothing fundamentally original with this music, but neither there is fundamentally wrong. I mean, what Sarkrista is already doing with their debut album is quite very solid music. That is, they have this kind of a faster tempo, not super fast, but fast nevertheless. And what they're doing with their melodies is kind of this kind of a darker, catchier type of black metal. Very easy to get into and kind of easy to enjoy those melodies as well. But there is always a but, and in this case it means I have a little bit of a problem with this songwriting. The problem might sound way too negative what I'm about to say because, I mean, this is totally listenable, quite decent release, but it's not maybe as good or catchy as it really could be. Then again, it's a first release and rarely bands make their best albums when, doing their first releases. So take it with that kind of a grain or salt or whatever you prefer with your seasoning or as your seasoning. The thing here is, this is totally likable all the way through. There's nothing wrong or such with the production or vocals. They're kind of a high shrieky vocals. So this is very much kind of a safe bet when you're entering the world of melodic black metal, especially the faster kind. But let's be honest about it. This could very, very well benefit of more diversity in songwriting. And while I don't see a problem with having, doing all over the same thing all over again, I think it a little bit is shadowed by some better bands, especially the Finnish kind, which is when this is, or to which this is compared to in my mind. Definitely quite a good debut album, but once again, nothing mind-blowingly good or nothing that original. Those who don't mind the lack of originality are probably right at home with this one. So we step up 8 years ahead, skip the one in the middle, and mind you, there is 4 years gap between the first and the second, as well as second and the third album. So it seems the band is putting out a new album every 4 years, and between there are those other releases to complement the wait. So that's when we have this Sworn to Profound Heresy, which is some 10 minutes lengthier than the first album, but the style is mostly the same. Now, in my opinion, basically every tiny little bit is a little bit better with this one, except maybe for the intro, which is kind of nice and reminds me of some soundtrack music with its choir parts and all that stuff, but feels like kind of not part of the whole deal here. I mean, it starts kind of a bombastic and creates this dark feeling, but when the actual first track, that is this title track, starts, it feels like why the intro is even there. It is kind of a misleading, and there's this annoying little pause, maybe 1 or 2 seconds, to just kind of like emphasize the feeling like now the intro is over, now the actual music starts. So I don't know, maybe this could have been even better without that kind of an intro. I mean, it's not bad, but it feels like unnecessary. Anyway, most of the music is pretty much the same style, so not that much 8 years has changed it. But the production is maybe a little bit better. It's kind of the same, kind of a thin, razor sharp killer sound, which in my opinion now cuts better. The vocals are pretty much the same, obviously, so it's not like the band has changed the course too much. But now this time they have a little bit more diversity, and curiously enough, I think the best tracks are the ones that are less tempo and more on the atmospheric side, because it seems like the band is they're more able to breathe more, they have a little bit more space for songwriting and creating this atmosphere, and as such I would mention tracks like 7 and Night, that is Destroyer of the Sun, and the last track, A Whisper from Forgotten Coffins, and these are, in my opinion, the most atmospheric parts of the album, and as a result being the most interesting ones, even though they are on the lengthier side of the songwriting. So curious enough, it seems like when the band slows down, they have better in terms of songwriting. So these minor changes, in my opinion, actually make this album a little bit better. So it's interesting to see which way they're going to go in maybe next 4 years. All in all, this one is, my opinion, the better one, the newer one. But definitely if you like the previous one, or if you liked like any of these albums, probably it's a safe bet to go all the way through. So if I had to choose the winner between these two, the first or the third one, I would say start with the third one if you haven't been listening to the band. This is better, and that's how it should be, because the band progresses and kind of evolves over the years. All in all, rather nice melodic black metal from Germany, and especially for the fans of Finnish black metal style. So if you're into that, go check out Sarkrista, because all of these albums are now out already, been for a while. You can pretty much get to listen to them on your, I don't know if your favorite streaming services have them, but anyway, on Bandcamp and maybe YouTube. So go check them out, go like some Sarkrista, and that's it. Thank you for watching the review. Take care. Bye bye.